Hi, and welcome to Maximum Rising. My name is Stephanie, and I'm here to support you recovering from religious and emotional trauma. So, another thing that I did to support myself was at the time I had a friend that was talking about talking to your inner child. Now, Stephanie, what the hell is my inner child? Well, your inner child is that part of you, that child part of you that never was seen, never was heard. For me, my child was very angry. My inner child was very angry and very hurt. So, what I did is I started to talk to her, and I called her, as I call myself, Stephanie. And I would just talk, and things would just come up from the past that I didn't realize still bothered me. Um, and so, what ended up happening was I would start to cry. I would feel her, and she would just cry. She would cry because of a teacher that made fun of her in school and really hurt her feelings. And she was 9 years old at the time. And that's when she decided she would not feel anymore. She decided that she would push people away. She would not let people get close to her because she did not want to get hurt. And that's also when when the heart decided to build a heart wall. It's also when she decided to like purple. So all those things happened to me at 9. I was also in HCL. We did some inner child healing. By that time, I had done a lot of healing, but what I did not do was to set my child self free from that. When I was a child, I was looking for a knight in shining armor that was going to save me from my parents, save me from religion, someone who was going to step up for me and stand for me and know my worth more than I knew my own worth, someone that was going to take care of me and protect me from all the hell and the shit and everything that I was growing through in that moment that I didn't realize was going to make me the woman that I am now. So, other people I've talked to who have been sexually molested or abused, their child is still too scared to talk about, still too scared to say anything, still has to protect itself. And my child was the same way. My inner child still wanted to protect itself, still did not want people to get close to it. During meditation, asked the creator, universe, source, whatever you want to call this, infinite energy, to help me with, I wanted to be near my heart wall. So I was shown all these pansies that surrounded my heart wall. And I could hear this girl just crying, just screaming and crying. And that was my inner child because she wanted out. She didn't want to be there anymore. She was so ready to be free. And so I told her, because at first I was like, who is it? And Creator was like, that's you. You want to be free. And so that's exactly what I did for her. And the last thing that she showed me, I grew up always having to know. Always having to know what's going to happen because knowing made me smart, right? My parents put a lot of pressure on me. Just to give you a bit of a background. So the first time that I was here, I was born as my sister Shelly. And I had every single issue you could think. Mental damage. I was born prematurely. I could not walk, could not talk. And my mother said that it was a umbilical cord wrapped around me. And so I could not breathe like I wanted to. So even though I couldn't talk, I remembered things here and there that the Creator showed me. And even then, I wanted to be free. I was reborn as Stephanie, the person I am now, and my purpose is to not only free my inner child, which I have done, but to support other people freeing themselves, support other people freeing their inner child, and anything else. I'm just here to support. I'm just here to help you on your journey. And if you resonate with this, that's awesome. You can take whatever I say and whatever I have done and make it my own, or make it your own. Um, so when I was born again, my sister had seizures because she was hit by a drunk driver at 9 years old. And the reason why she was hit is she was on the sidewalk giving a frisbee, and the drunk driver hit her. So she ended up having seizures, and then my mom had a hard time having children. She's had stillborn kids. She's had, eventually I died of Shelley because I choked on food. And then here I am, and then my brother was born, and he has autism. So to my parents and to both sides of the family, I was the only perfect child. So I was the child that had to go to college. I was the child that broke the mold, my dad says. Do I know what that means? Not really. I guess broke the cycle. That's the only thing I can come up with. But anyway, I was the one. So there was a lot of pressure on me when I was little to be the perfect child. Listen to mommy. There's nothing mommy says that you should never want to do. You put others first. Don't worry about yourself. You always focus on your family. And that became you grow up like that, and then your grandmother's telling you, you need to go to college. You need to do this. You need to do that. Right? You need a good education. So I spent the early part of my life living someone else's dream. I didn't know if I wanted to go to college or not. I was just doing what I was told. And back to human design. And trust me, this will explain everything. So in human design, I'll just say what I can remember. You have several types, I'll call them. You have manifesting generator, you have a generator, and you have a projector, and there's one more that I always forget. And I think the last one's a little bit of all of them. So discovering myself, thanks to my dear friend from HCL, actually two dear friends from HCL, my Scorpio friend and my Capricorn friend, I discovered who I was, and I also discovered, I kind of put those pieces together with astrology, and it made a whole. So I am a generator. The way that you find this out, you can look up human design and go with either site. You put in your birthday, your time, the same thing you would do with your birth chart. And if you do not agree or align with what they're saying, you may have to change the time of your birth. It is my theory that my spirit was in my body at 1 o'clock, and then I was born at 1:51 p.m. So from the astrology point of view, just because it's your birth time does not mean that that is who you are, because maybe you could go either way. When I was doing a reading / consultation for a friend of mine, she could have been a Libra rising, she could have been a Scorpio rising. I knew who she was, but I read it to her so she could feel it and hear it. So anyway, being a generator, the human design teaches you what's defined and what's not defined. So what is undefined is white, and what is defined is some kind of color, either brown or red, depending on what site you go with. Or you can even say tan. I say tan. Some people say it's brown. To me, it looks tan. But anyway, point being is the reason why I went with what everybody told me to do is because my crown, from crown down to the throat, and there's one other part that I can never remember, but it's the part before the heart that is all undefined. So when I am not balanced, I'm easily swayed by people. And of course, I was a little girl, right? I'm a 5-year-old being preached that to go to college, you're going to be a Seventh-day Adventist Reform Movement. You're going to wait till marriage to, do extracurricular activities. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. Like, I had all of this put upon me. And it was a lot of pressure. It was really a lot of pressure and a lot to live up to. These were my parents and my relatives' expectations of me. But now that I have talked to my inner child, I have been able to feel into what is it that I want, right? What does it look like for me? Do I have all the answers? No, and you're not going to have all the answers either, and that is okay. But as I talked to my inner child about that, she told me that the reason why she always had to know is because if she didn't, her dad and her mom and the relatives will look at her like, what do you mean you don't know? You don't have to know. Which is why my nephew, when he was little and people were putting pressure on him, I said, it's okay if you don't want to go to college. It's okay if you don't know. You do not have to know. I am not expecting you to know everything. So, long story shorter, when she told me that, it made sense. This is why I felt uncomfortable, really uncomfortable in uncertainty, not knowing, because I always had to know. And that Scorpio in me, which I have a lot of planets in Scorpio. I have 2 planets in Scorpio, 2 planets in Sagittarius, 2 planets in Libra, and just 1 planet in Aquarius and 1 planet in Virgo, which is the sun. Aquarius is the moon. Right? And so, yes, the sun and the moon are looked at as planets. But the Scorpio in me wants to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. So, and then the Virgo has to know, right? Like, what are we doing? We need to plan. We need to do this, right? And I was also taught that by my dad, who's a Taurus. So when that was explained to me, I let that go, and I decided that that is no longer me. I am okay not knowing. I'm okay being in the uncertainty. Is it still uncomfortable? Yes, but not as uncomfortable as it used to be. And so I merged with her. And so what I do is I just picture her right in front of me. She's just this cute little girl. She has cornrows, right? And, she's in this cute little blue dress sometimes. It was my favorite dress. I wore that dress out. It had little ribbons. And I think it had flowers on it. That's all I can remember. And I just look at her and I hug her and I said, hey, let's let this go together. And we let it go. And I said, right now you're 39 years old and this is not you anymore. And, let's just merge into each other. And then I just picture her sitting on my lap and we just merge and she becomes me and I become her. So embracing my inner child through different stages in my life has really supported me letting go of things that no longer served, letting go of the ideas that were put upon me. And even going back to that time in my childhood where my Taurus dad told me, don't do this, don't do that. This is what you need to do. I will go back there. And I was a child, and as a child, I heard myself saying, no, I don't have to do that anymore. Or no, this is not me anymore. And I ended up picking and choosing just by feeling into it what resonated with a line and what did not. And so that really helped me. Since I'm in a partnership, there was some blocks to that. And as soon as I let that go, I felt closer to my partner. And know that you may not have the head knowledge of anything that I'm saying, but you do have that inner knowledge, that heart knowledge. When my partner and I were growing through what we needed to grow through during the full moon, excuse me, he doesn't know anything that I know here, but he knows it here, and he was able to transmute a lot of things unknowingly because he felt it and he knew what to do. And so it's not a head knowledge. None of this is head knowledge, it's all heart knowledge. And those of us that are analyzers and controllers, we find that very hard. But to be quite honest, deep down, you are not an analyzer, a supporter, a controller, analyzer, supporter, controller, or a promoter. Deep down, we're all of them. But deep down, there are no labels. Deep down, we are all sensitives. We are all empathic. What's happened is our trauma, whether it be religiously, emotionally, or both, has blocked us from feeling, you know. And so, you know, that plus society tells us as men, you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to have your shit together. Crying is for sissies. Crying is for bitches. Crying is for little girls, right? And as women, we get taken care of because we cry. But if you're like me, you're like, I'm not going to cry either. I'm going to pause to take a sip of water. Because I want to be strong like a guy can do whatever a guy can do, right? So if you're in that, if you're in your masculine, then you're not going to cry either. Because you want to be looked at with respect. You want men to look at you and be like, oh, she can take it like I can, right? At least that was me. Or you just don't want to be called sensitive, right? Because my boss, one time I cried in front of her, she goes, oh, I didn't know you were so sensitive. It is okay to cry. Because the inner child in you needs you to cry. Because your inner child most likely wants to cry. Your inner child most likely wants to be free of the heart wall and the wall that it built, right? Your inner child wants to merge with you to, you know, to be that person that you are now. But your inner child also still wants to play, right? And so, you know, we've just transitioned from Leo season to Virgo season, which is from play and being seen to getting down to business. Okay, we've been playing, we've been seen, we've been in our hearts. Okay, now we need to figure out how this all works. Instead of figuring it out here, feel into how it will work, which is the opposite of Virgo. I know Virgos don't do that, but just give it a try. So how do you reach out to your inner child? What's another way you can do that? Just by closing your eyes, taking in a deep breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Last round. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as you keep the inhale and exhales, you are now deeper than you were before. And as you go back to normal breathing, just picture yourself as you were when you were a little boy or a little girl. Maybe go back to that room in your house. where you were. Or maybe go to that favorite place that you like to hide from everything, from the world, or the place you would run away to. Wherever you feel like you need to go there now. And see that little boy and that little girl. And talk to them, calling them your name. And just sit down and have a conversation. What is it that still bothers them? See what their answer is. What makes them afraid? What are they afraid of? What is it that they want to be free to do? What do they want to be free? What do they want freedom of? So they can do whatever it is they want to do. And if you're feeling tears, that's okay. If you're feeling low energy, that's okay. If you're feeling high energy, that's also okay. Whatever you're feeling in this moment is okay. It's just your inner child coming through. And the last question I leave to you. What's one last question you want to ask your inner child? Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to go there, whatever that means for you. It's okay. You are in a safe space. You are in a community that's allowing you to feel what it is you need to feel. It's okay if you want to hug your inner child. He or she probably needs it. What is something that you want to tell yourself at whatever age this is? Go ahead and tell them what you want to tell them. And now, if you are ready, clasp the hand of you as a child, your inner child. Feel free to take them with you. If you are ready to merge with them, feel free to merge with them. And then walk away from wherever you are. Feel the energy in your hands and your feet. Notice the smells. Notice any bits of food in your mouth that were not completely eaten. Or the drink in your mouth. Notice the taste. Notice the surroundings. What are you hearing? Your neighbors, construction, whatever's going on around you. And then touch. Notice how it feels. Notice the texture of what you are touching. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You are back. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open. Feel free to comment how that felt for you. If you had a hard time with it, that's okay. That's totally okay. If thoughts came in, that's okay. As long as you were able to focus. Sometimes it's not you seeing your inner child. Sometimes it's you feeling your inner child. With me, it was both. So another way also you can get in touch with your inner child is writing. If you're a writer, if you're an artist, drawing a picture, asking your inner child what they want a picture of, or just writing And then just tapping into your inner child and just writing what your inner child is feeling, what your inner child felt from the past, what have you. Um, Meditation is really great for this. We all can meditate in different ways. The candle meditation would be great. Um, if you want to do that to get in touch with your inner child, that's great. Um, Art in and of itself is a meditation, so is writing. Going outside and just focusing on Father Sky, Mother Earth, Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon, just walking, and that's a good time to meditate and notice your surroundings, to just be aware of what's around you. So these are some things that I have done and that other people have done in order to get in touch with their inner child. And if this was helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. I cannot emphasize enough to share this, because my purpose here is not only to have this human experience, but to support you recovering from religious and emotional trauma, but also to empower you by supporting and helping you empower yourself. Because we all have this. We all do. Whether we believe it or not, we all have the ability to do this. So thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please, please know that you are loved. You may not feel loved right now. You may feel like shit, but you are loved. If this brought up emotions for you, be in those emotions. If you are triggered by this, that's amazing. To stay with your triggers instead of ignoring them. And just become whatever you are supposed to become from this. So again, I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.